The launch of the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 on April 16th lands in a space that feels unusually divided, and that tension says a lot about what this camera actually represents. It's not the kind of release that instantly resets expectations or makes older models feel obsolete overnight. At the same time, it's not just a routine refresh either. It sits somewhere in the middle, and that middle ground is exactly why reactions are so mixed. Some people are ready to order it immediately, confident that this is the most refined version of a product they already like. Others are holding back, waiting for comparisons, reviews, and real-world footage before making a decision. Then there's a quieter group, those who already own the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, who feel no urgency at all. They're not wrong either. What makes this launch interesting is that all of these perspectives can be justified depending on how you look at the Pocket 4. At its core, the Pocket 4 doesn't try to reinvent the formula. DJI hasn't taken a radical step or introduced a completely new concept. Instead, the focus is clearly on refinement. The camera still uses a 1-inch sensor, the same size found in its predecessor. For anyone expecting a leap in raw hardware, that might feel like a limitation. But the story doesn't end there, because what DJI has done is push that existing hardware further in terms of output and usability. One of the most noticeable upgrades is the addition of 4K video at 240 frames per second. That alone changes how creators can approach slow motion. Whether it's capturing fast-moving subjects, cinematic sequences, or detailed B-roll, the added flexibility opens up new creative options. Combined with 10-bit D-Log-M and improved dynamic range, the camera is better equipped to handle challenging lighting conditions. Bright highlights, deep shadows, and mixed lighting scenarios become easier to manage, which ultimately leads to more polished footage. But the real story of the Pocket 4 isn't just about video specs. It's about the experience of using the camera day to day. This is where DJI seems to have paid close attention to feedback. Small changes, like a dedicated zoom control, a customizable button, and a more secure design, don't sound dramatic on paper, but they make a noticeable difference when you're actually shooting. These are the kinds of improvements that reduce friction, and over time, that matters more than headline features. Storage is another area where the camera takes a practical step forward. With over 100 gigabytes of built-in space, the need to constantly manage memory cards becomes less of a concern. For travel creators or anyone shooting on the go, that simplicity can make the entire process smoother. You can focus more on capturing moments instead of worrying about technical limitations. Audio, often overlooked in compact cameras, could end up being one of the most impactful upgrades. If the inclusion of a new wireless mic system in the base package holds true, it significantly improves the overall value. Good audio has always been one of the biggest challenges for small cameras, and solving that problem right out of the box makes the Pocket 4 a more complete tool. At the same time, it's important to be clear about what this camera doesn't offer. It's still a single lens system with no optical zoom, and there's no major jump in sensor size. Those expecting a more ambitious leap may feel like this release is holding back. And in a way, it probably is. There's a strong sense that DJI is saving bigger innovations for a future model, possibly something positioned as a more advanced or pro version. This is where the decision becomes less about the camera itself and more about the person considering it. For existing Pocket 3 users, the upgrade path isn't straightforward. The improvements are real, but they don't fundamentally change the kind of footage you can create. If you're already satisfied with your results, the Pocket 4 won't suddenly transform your content. It's an evolution, not a revolution. For someone entering this category for the first time, though, the perspective shifts completely. The Pocket 4 becomes a very compelling option because it offers a refined, all-in-one experience. You're getting strong video performance, advanced color options, improved usability, and potentially solid audio in a single compact device. Without the need to compare it to a previous model, it stands on its own as a well-rounded starting point. There's also a third angle that often gets overlooked. With a new release comes price shifts, and that makes the Pocket 3 more appealing than ever. Choosing the older model at a lower price isn't a compromise, it's a calculated decision. The performance is still strong, and for many people, it will be more than enough. Looking beyond DJI, the timing of this launch adds another layer to the conversation. Competing brands are preparing their own releases, and the compact camera space is about to become more competitive. Waiting a little longer could provide a clearer picture of how all these options stack up against each other. For those who aren't in a hurry, patience might be the smartest move. In the end, the Pocket 4 represents a very specific kind of progress. It doesn't aim to redefine what a compact camera can be. Instead, it focuses on making an already successful concept more polished and easier to use. That might not sound exciting at first, but in real-world use, those refinements can make a meaningful difference. The split reaction surrounding this launch makes sense because the camera itself sits in a balanced position. It's better than what came before, but not dramatically different. Whether that's enough depends entirely on your expectations, your current gear, and how you plan to use it. That's why there isn't a single right answer here. For some, it's an easy upgrade. For others, it's worth skipping. And for many, it's something to watch and evaluate over time. What matters most is making a decision based on your own needs, rather than the excitement of a launch. Because when everything settles, the value of a camera isn't defined by how new it is. It's defined by how well it fits into the way you create. My honest take on the DJI Osmo Pocket 4 is that it's a very well thought out upgrade, but not a very bold one. DJI clearly knows what works, and instead of taking risks, they've chosen to refine the experience. That's great for reliability, but it does make the launch feel a bit less exciting than it could have been. What I like most is the focus on real-world usability. This camera feels like it was designed by people who actually listen to creators. Small changes like better controls, more usable buttons, built-in storage, and improved audio don't sound impressive at first, but they make a huge difference over time. These are the things that remove friction when you're shooting, especially in fast or unpredictable situations. And in my opinion, that matters more than just adding bigger numbers to a spec sheet. That said, I do think DJI played it a little too safe. Keeping the same sensor as the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 means this doesn't feel like a major leap forward. Yes, features like 4K 240 frames per second and better dynamic range are great, but they don't completely change what the camera is capable of. If you already own a Pocket 3 and you're happy with it, this upgrade probably won't feel necessary. Where the Pocket 4 really makes sense is for first-time buyers. If you're entering this space now, you're getting a very polished, all-in-one package. It's compact, powerful, and seems designed to work smoothly without needing extra accessories. That's a big advantage, especially for travel, vlogging, or casual content creation. At the same time, I wouldn't rush into buying it immediately. The timing of this launch is interesting because there's more competition coming. Other brands are preparing new compact cameras, and that could shift the value conversation very quickly. Waiting a few weeks for comparisons and real-world reviews could give a much clearer picture. Overall, I think the Pocket 4 is a smart upgrade, just not an exciting one. It improves the experience in meaningful ways, but it doesn't redefine anything. Whether that's enough really depends on where you're coming from and what you expect from your gear.